Well, hello into people, how are you guys doing? And today we're going to be talking about autism and change. I made this video last year, but I feel like that wasn't a very good explanation as to why autistic people find change difficult. So today guys, I'm going to talk about what is change, why do autistic people struggle with change, the reactions when change happens, and then lastly I'm going to give you guys 5 tips as to how you can manage change more effectively. So stick around till the end of the video. But I talk about autism all of the time on this channel, and if it sounds like your cup of tea and you want to stick around, then please consider subscribing down below and turning on those notifications so you do not miss an upload. So firstly, what is change? Basically, change in its fundamentals is where something is different, whether this is a change of environment, whether this is a change in routine or an object missing. Change is something different to what you expected or something that you are used to. But why do autistic people find change so difficult? With me, it's all to do with the familiarity, whether it's the familiarity of a certain place, of a certain object, or whatever. Familiarity at its core is security. It's a place of safety. You know, it brings safety to myself as well as others on the spectrum. You know, people have routines and stuff that they religiously stick to, but for a lot of us on the spectrum, it's a way of life, you know, having that familiar routine, know exactly what you're doing every single day, you know, that sort of thing. So to give you guys an example, I recently moved house, and moving house is apparently one of the most stressful things that you can do in your life. So yeah, it's been very, very interesting, this whole new house thing and, you know, doing bills and all the rest of it. So because this was an unfamiliar change to me, I didn't know what to do, and I just found it quite a stressful process because I've been used to living in a certain place and there was a familiar routine around that and there was familiar items and everything like that. To come into a new house with nothing apart from our belongings, it was a bit weird because we had to figure out where stuff was going to go and everything like that, and it was just... That's honestly how I was feeling for the first few days when I moved in. Yeah. So now I want to talk about some of the reactions that happen within the body mainly, as well as externally, when change happens for an autistic person. You know, I can only talk about my experiences, but when change happens, even if it's a small change, it really stresses me out. You know, I just feel really tense, it just builds up anxiety. Like, I mean, the smallest thing that does agitate me a little bit is like change of food. So I like noodles from a pot, like naked noodles. I love those things. However, someone bought different noodles, like it was a different manufacturer, it was the same flavor and everything like that, but it still stressed me out because I didn't know really what to expect. Because it's a different brand and everything like that, you know, there's loads of things to consider, you know, the texture of the noodles, the flavor, all of that stuff. It's a small thing, it really is, but it does build stress and anxiety for me personally. You know, these little things can build up over time and it just drains me, you know, little changes over a constant period of time. So when I've reached my peak of anxiety, I literally just drop right back down and I just can't function. I literally just can't function at all. And this is a very typical experience for people with autism. It's a daily thing for a lot of us. Okay guys, so are you ready for some tips? I've got 5 tips for you on how to manage change more effectively. The first one is have a plan B, C, and D. Basically, when you're going into a situation and you have expectations of how that situation's gonna go, if it doesn't go the way that you expect or there's a sudden change, then you have a plan B, a C, or a D. You can make as many alternative plans as you want, but at least it prepares you in a more thorough way. So for example, say you take a particular bus. Say if it's goes amiss and it just doesn't turn up. Have a plan B, so you could take another bus that takes you to the same destination, or if there's a family member around that can take you to the place that you want to go. I know it's not ideal, but at least it's better than having one plan and then that plan going wrong, if that makes sense. The second tip that I have for you guys is get involved with the change. So when I moved house, I was scared. However, I know within myself, when there's a change, I like to keep myself busy with certain tasks. I kept myself busy doing little things here and there just to help with the move, and this really helped me personally. Especially when the change is out of your control as well. I think it's important to try as much as possible to get involved with the change. You know, it might seem scary at first. Trust me, moving house was a very scary thing for me, like I say. But once you're doing stuff and getting into it, it really does help, trust me. Third tip I have for you guys is more for people who are carers, parents, friends of an autistic person. If you have a set plan and there's going to be a change, tell them. Just be upfront and honest that there's going to be a change to proceedings. Because personally for me, when I go into a situation, I expect plan A. I don't typically think about plan B, C and D. And I personally appreciate it when people say there's going to be a slight change to the way things are going to be running. Here's what is going to happen. Even if it does upset the person initially, I do think it's important just to be upfront and honest with people. Now the fourth tip I've got for you guys is, if it's a massive change, like moving house for example, have a schedule just to help the autistic person overcome the change, overcome that anxiety that they will be feeling. For autistic kids, something like a visual schedule might be beneficial as well, whether it's just like picture cards, whatever it may be. Literally having a schedule I think is really important. And finally, tip number 5, maintain communication. Maintain communication with the autistic person and just make sure that they are a priority, as well as managing the change as well. You know, the change is a priority, obviously, you know, if it's unexpected, everything like that, you know, that takes precedence. However, I think it's really important to consider the feelings and the thoughts of the actual person themselves. You know, it's a change, so it's going to be stressful. However, I really think maintaining positive communication with the autistic person can really help with that transition. Now down below in those comments, I want to talk about change. How does everyone feel about change generally? And if you have any other tips for me regarding change that I haven't talked about in the video, definitely let me know down below. It'd be great to hear from you guys. But for now guys, if you enjoyed this video, then please give it a thumbs up, subscribe down below and turn on those notifications. Stay you, stay indie. I hope you have a really great day guys, and I'll see you all very soon. See you later guys.